Most people have had problems with their cell phone service at times. Maybe you have an issue with your bill or can't operate one of your phone's features. When you call customer service, you expect your problem to be solved quickly and competently. If you were with Sprint in 2007, chances are none of your expectations were being met. Bob Johnson is the Chief Service and Information Technology Officer at Sprint. When he took on the job at the end of 2007, Sprint's customer satisfaction rating was dismal. J.D. Power and Associates, the American Customer Satisfaction Index, and others rated Sprint dead last in customer satisfaction among major cell phone carriers.
When I was asked to start this role in the fourth quarter of 2007, customer care, frankly, was broken. We couldn't even do the basics, such as answer the phone or answer the phone on time.
A number of issues contributed to the problems with customer service. Some of these arose within the company. Sprint had recently merged with Nextel, another wireless company, and the effort of combining the networks and billing systems had taken the focus off customer care. At the same time, budget cuts left the customer care team severely underfunded.
When we were having challenges with budgets, oftentimes the first expenses to get cut are those in training and customer care. As a result, we were severely underfunded and didn't have enough staff answering the calls we were getting.
The problem was compounded by call regeneration.
If a customer was on the phone too long waiting to get the call answered, or didn't like the answer they got from the agent they were speaking with, they would simply hang up and call back again. So that same customer actually represented 2 calls. During this period, about a third of our total call volume was regeneration.
The growing smartphone market also created a problem.
During this period, we had an explosion of smartphone growth. For example, in our base, we went from 0% penetration to 75% of our customers having these devices in just a few years. These phones are like small computers. They're very complex. Customers had a lot of questions about how to use them. When we were struggling with the basics such as answering the phone, we weren't afforded enough time to train our agents adequately on these very complex devices.
Obviously, Sprint needed to change, and it had to come from the top. In late 2007, Dan Hesse became the CEO of Sprint. He immediately made customer satisfaction a priority.
When Dan Hesse started with Sprint in late 2007, he stated that we would have 3 priorities: improve the brand of Sprint, improve our cash position or profitability, and very importantly for me in my role, improving the customer experience. Those 3 priorities were the same then that are in place today. And they have given me the support, or air cover if you will, to allow me to do my job.
The process of organizational change involves 3 stages. The first is unfreezing, which creates the motivation for change. The second is changing, which involves learning new ways of doing things. Finally, the organization must refreeze and embrace the changes as the new normal. At Sprint, the first step in unfreezing was analyzing the data.
When we were having some of our initial challenges, we weren't able to answer the phone on time. The metric we use to determine our success is ASA, or average speed of answer. A standard for many customer care organizations is to have an ASA of around 30 seconds. Our ASA at that time was over 8 minutes.
Sprint also compared its performance to other companies in the industry, a process called benchmarking.
On average, cellular wireless customers call once a quarter or 4 times a year. Our customers at Sprint were calling us 8 times a year, and some particular segments of our customer base were calling us once a month.
Once they understood the data, the next step was to get managers and employees on board with the coming changes.
Whenever you introduce this amount of change, there's naturally going to be some resistance. We had to ask the employees to trust us. They would be able to do their job better and in turn satisfy our customers.
The next step was to implement change. This meant providing employees with new models of behavior.
We have a lot of internal metrics we use to see how we're doing. As a result of all these metrics being in place, the agents were confused about what was important for them to focus on. They couldn't prioritize. So we realized that those metrics had to be used for managing the workforce and the call volumes we were getting. We did that in the back office. Subsequently, we asked our agents to focus on 2 simple priorities: answer the call professionally and empathetically, and try to solve their issue the very first time, or first call resolution.
Sprint still uses additional metrics to measure call center effectiveness. But now those metrics are used by managers to identify needs for additional staffing and training rather than being communicated directly to call center agents. Change in customer care extended into Sprint stores as well. Data showed that a number of customers called for help using their new smartphones. Johnson realized he could eliminate these calls by offering more service on the store level.
What we did was we created an initiative in our company-owned stores called Ready Now. A customer would come in, they would select the smartphone device that they were going to buy, and the store salespeople would train them on how to use the various applications. They would provision and set up their email, and when the customer walked out of the store, they not only had a working device, but were fully trained on how to use that phone.
The final stage of the change process is called refreezing. This involves helping employees integrate the new attitudes and behaviors into their work life. Refreezing often involves additional training and coaching. Sprint approached training from a different direction.
When we asked the agents to focus on all of these different metrics, they would pay attention to things like AHT or average handle time. As a result, when they spent too much time with a customer, they would tend to want to hang up just to meet that metric and not solve the customer's issues. We had to train the managers to coach on behavior, not managing and focusing on metrics. They would listen to calls and train the agents on what a good call sounded like. Was the tone empathetic? Was it professionally sounding? Did the agent listen to that customer and focus on resolving their issue the first time?
Sprint's dedication to change has paid off. In at least one prestigious study, the company's customer satisfaction rating has moved from last place to first place. They've received multiple awards from J.D. Power & Associates, and the most recent American Customer Satisfaction Index survey found that Sprint was the most improved company in customer satisfaction across all industries from 2008 to 2012.
The culture has improved dramatically given Dan's 3 priorities. When he asked the entire organization to focus on customer experience improvement, certainly my own organization appreciated that and we embraced the concept. In addition, the entire employee base viewed improving the customer experience as their jobs as well. Together, we worked hand in hand on improving our service delivery for our customers.
Embracing change is important for any business that wants to stay competitive. In order to change successfully, a company needs to be able to communicate the need for change, provide managers and employees with the proper tools, thoroughly train employees, and compensate them accordingly.
This multi-year process to improve our customer experience could not have been accomplished without a very strong leadership team and an employee base that was committed to making this change happen. In the end, we have documented proof that it's actually less expensive to run a high-quality care organization. Over this period, we have improved our operating expense by hundreds of millions of dollars incrementally each and every year and have totaled $1 billion back to the bottom line of Sprint.